table, no wall as a background, no kitchen. Tonight we're outside, and we're going to paint this two little bad boys. All right, so let's start with the let's sketch. They're reddish, so I'm going to use just red just to place them. The background should be easy. We're going to paint a greenish fuzzy background, so we need to place the fruits first. I'm going to place the left side. I look at the distance from the edge of the canvas to here, so it's about a quarter, right? Where the left side of the right fruit is almost in the middle, half, so that's the middle here. And then I'm so used to symmetrical composition that I place the right side same a quarter from the about a quarter from the edge. So you have a quarter, half, well, a little bit more, but it gives you an idea. And then it's going to be the same thing, because the two circles could fit in a square. So I'm going to place the bottom here and the top right there, so you have about the same distance, top bottom, and they're about the same size. So bottom that is slightly higher and slightly higher. Nothing complicated. Let's simplify as much as possible, because the idea is to work on the process, understand the process, trying to control the paint, so we keep everything else simple. Greenish background, two reddish circles, and then we'll take care of the details last. All right? So we're gonna chop the corners of those two squares. I might move the left one a little bit more to the left to have more room here. I'm not sure yet. So let's chop. Let's chop. Same. As you can see, they're not perfect circles, so give you some room for artistic license. That's what you need to do, because the top will be covered with leaves. I also want to place the bottom here. I don't know what it's called, these protruding parts. So I'm going to place them. As you can see, this one is on the same level. Probably because it's bigger, so it pushes this part forward, so it's on the same level. And that's all I need. All right. Let's review this. For the composition, how far is the left side from the edge? About this much. You're doing the same thing on this side. How far the right side is from the edge, and you're doing the same thing for the top. Bottom. I'm sorry. Bottom, 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 and the same thing, bottom, 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 bottom. And if you're not sure, you look at where the two connect. It's about in the middle, half, half. So take your time. Then I will start with the background. So I took this picture the other day, the other morning, on my walk in the neighborhood, early morning. So as you can see, it's there's no like bright light. It's kind of dull. You can see that the green is not a bright green. It's a gray. It's a green gray. Here's a little bit lighter green yellow, but it would be much brighter if it were had it been sunny. All right, the background, it's green, but there's a lot of blue, gray, blue, or blue, gray. Okay. We're going to work on that first. So I like to simplify the color mixing. Okay. The dominant color is green. We all agree on that, but it's dark green. And so I start with green, and I'm going to add white to make it, to dull the color. Okay? We're going to start with the dark side on the here. Right? So to make it dull, I need a brown. So we're going to mix yellow and blue. We get green, and I add blue to have a dark color, more like a gray, dark gray. So let's try. That works for me. Okay. I'm going to add more blue so it's darker. So this kind of background is fun because you don't have to think. We're doing an abstract background. So I paint the dark shapes I see, and then I'm going to add white to change the color while giving some highlights. So I'm going to make it much more abstract than the reference photo. It's more detailed than the reference photo. As you know, I like to mix my colors directly on the canvas because that's where the magic happens. And I can see immediately the changes that are happening. I'm not trying to copy what the reference photo. It's just suggesting the different shapes or the dimension I see with what's my picture? The dark here, on top, and then it's going to be lighter and lighter. So I'm just playing. As always, this allows me to practice color mixing and blending easily. I don't have to think about the details or painting something perfect. So for this kind of abstract background, use a bigger brush. Right? You'll have less strokes. You're going to cover better the canvas. It makes it more loose than using a small brush. And it really doesn't make sense in a way to use a small brush to paint a large area. So I'm painting around the pomegranate. So I'm trying to see the, to look at the, to paint the darkest spots. It doesn't have to be in the exact same spot, but this is going to give depth to this busy foliage. Right, more highlights. So no details, just dark, medium, and light colors. So you're working on blending, mixing, shadows, highlights. And as you paint the background in an abstractish style, you'll have the impression of a busy foliage. The orange base color is going to give some warmth to the scene. Right? So this background allows you to practice that as well. Again, the goal is not to copy exactly what you see. But it's to practice and understand how you can master, control better this medium. And having fun while doing it, and not being distracted by the technical or a complex technical execution. So the idea here is to cover the base color to suggest a busy foliage. And of course, it's going to work better when everything is painted, right? So it doesn't have to be precise. Just paint the shadows, the highlights. See, I'm going back here. So we can practice that all over the background, and paint something you like. Something that works, and don't worry about copying the reference photo. That's the sky in the upper left corner. I'm not going to paint that. It's beautiful on the picture, but it's not necessary on the painting. So I'm going to make it darker. It's going to help the green-yellow foliage stand out. So same process. Darkest green I can get. With some light green. And some white or light green highlights. Knowing that you can always go back once it's done to make it more fuzzy, to give more dimension, or to make it more detailed. And I think that's good for now. One thing I keep saying every week to my students, take a picture of the work in progress so you remember how you started, and then all the changes you'll see all the changes you made throughout. I know you're looking forward for me to seeing me painting the fruits, but I'm going to paint the leaves. Remember, big shapes first. Background, this mass of green yellow leaves, and then the smaller shapes, the red last. That's my process. Now feel free to work in a different way, of course. I always like to paint the like a draft, a blurry version of my painting. And then I can, once I see the colors I'm gonna play with, I can visualize how I can make all the adjustments. So now, lighter green, I'm going to add some white. White is very opaque, so it covers easily the base color. So I painted the the shadows in the dark green. And I paint loose shapes for the light leaves. Again, it's okay if you don't have the same shapes. Okay, your leaves can be bigger, smaller. It's just a suggestion of the leaves. We're not doing anything precise yet. It could be slightly more detailed so you can see some leaves, but by placing the darks, the medium, and the light colors, I'm giving dimension to this mass of leaves. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. The right side of the picture is a darker green. The bottom and the left side, it's a lighter green, okay, with some highlights. So it gives the impression that it's busy, but you still have a few leaves that stand out. Here I changed. I made it darker, like this side, with less highlights. It's going to help for it to stand out. Here I did the same thing, the darks, some light oval shapes. Okay. They read as small leaves, different from the background, and they stand out because of the shadows and the highlighted leaves. Right. I'm going to give you some time to finish this impression of leaves standing out. I make some parts darker. If you see the illusion of busy foliage but with some dimension, and the leaves here, you are on the right track. Right? Let's move on to the part you've been waiting for, the fruits. So I'm going to paint the darks first. is going to help me controlling better the light parts. Right? Again, I'm not looking for the perfect colors. It's reddish, but not bright. It's almost like a dull red. So there's going to be some brown involved, pink and white. Okay. So it's almost almost a dark purple. So I'm using red and blue, and it's going to be too dark, and there's nothing really dark here, so I'm not going to paint the leaf on this side. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to cover it. You might see that the orange shows through, so it changes my purplish here. That makes it more burgundy, which is fine because I wanted the overall painting to be warmer. But if I wanted to tone it down, or I should say make it more dull, I would use white. The white is going to cover more the base color and make it a more natural burgundy, or at least the color I want. That's what I need on this side. I'm going to paint the bottom here. And I will paint this side now. This side because it's darker than the middle. The left side is darker. And I'm going to add white because it's a light burgundy. Dark burgundy, light, and of course there's going to be red to balance. It's almost like a two purple. I mean, it is purple. All right, let's add more red. It's a red pinkish, so I'm just adding a little bit of red to the light purple I had on my brush. Add just red, less white, to paint this brighter. Now I'm going to need a little bit of brown, so blue, yellow, okay, green, and mix red, and this brown should work. This would be a light pinkish, that's why I didn't paint it, and this is a dirty brownish, so I'm trying to simplify, but I have to paint this color transition. It's just, that's what makes it natural looking. But if you don't see this color transition, that's fine. As long as you have dark, medium, light, and the reflections, it's gonna work. All right. All right, speaking of which, let's paint the reflections. So I didn't clean my brush because I had some brownish reddish, interesting to keep on my brush. And it's not like a bright reflection. So I'm just adding a little bit of white. Keeping this reflection. The reflection on the left side is stronger, so I'm adding more white. And it works. So now I'm going to paint more to cover the background, the base color. So I'm readjusting the medium red. I need a little bit of purple here. The left side, and then I need brown. For the right side. All right, now let's paint the bottom before doing exactly the same thing on the right side. So I'm just going to use red. It's almost like a reddish color. So just red plus the base color, it's orange. That doesn't work, so I'm gonna add more blue, so it's more purple, and dull it a little bit with white. That works better. And more red to make this part stand out. I keep the red because it's just red turning to white. So I'm just adding white. We keep it simple. It's going to be 3 strokes. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, there's actually a 4th one. So it's a little bit too white. I'm going back to my purplish and I'm going to cover that to dull it. I forgot to paint the shadow here. So that's pretty much it for the process. As long as you read the right color that turns this into a sphere, we recognize the pomegranate. Right? Okay, you get a second chance. We're going to paint the one on the right. So I'm going back to my brown here. It's too brown, so I'm adding red. And let's paint the bottom. There you go. This one is simpler. There's less shadows and complicated color transitions. It's just the dark here. A little bit darker, a little bit more dull, so I'm gonna add white. And then more red, and the reflection pink. Dark pink. Dirty, dull pink. All right. Now you see that they stand out from the background. Okay. The background could be more fuzzy, more abstract. You can see that with the darks, mediums, and some highlights, it gives you the illusion of a busy background. You can see you can guess the leaves all around. Okay. I'm going to detail more the leaves so they stand out more, but that's pretty much it. And from there you can do a more realistic painting, better colors, details, but it's a good it's more than a draft. To me this is good, and I will stop it right there. All right, let's paint the top. I hope I'm not going too fast. So we're going back to a brown red, and then I'm gonna dull with white. Let's try. Okay, it's too light. So let's go back to brown. Okay. Blue, yellow, I get green, and I'm gonna add red. Less white. It's not the color I wanted. It's nice, but it's not what I wanted. So let's rinse my brush. Sometimes there's too many colors on the brush, so I need to rinse it. And we're going to add more red to the brown. And a little bit of white. That's better. Let's purple. Let's more red. It works better. Just the top. Now let's add red for the middle here. I leave room for the reflection. I need a little bit of white. My red is too bright. So one pinch of white is going to dull. Let's finish this side. This can be the same color here. That's fine. I need white to paint this side a little bit lighter. It's going to make the right side stand out. Okay, and now I'm going to paint the reflection. So I have enough red here on my brush. I add a little bit of white. Try to make it not to make it too bright. And a few strokes. Short vertical strokes to cover the base color. And I'm going to add more white because it needs to be brighter. So just a few lines like that, it creates a better texture for the pomegranate. All right, and this side needs to, the left side needs to stand out. So let's add more white to my brush. And it's definitely brighter, very light pink to finish this side. It's too bright, too much white, so let's add more red. That's better. All right, so I hope it makes sense what I'm doing. You have two circles, but just for one, you paint the dark, the light, and the medium. And then you add the reflections. This creates a sphere. Right? Now let's paint the bottom. There's a little bit of red at the top here. The middle is more pink. It really looks like a radish split, this bottom part here. Right. And then we're going to paint 3 strokes for the tip. So not just white. I rinse my brush, but it's not just white, so I'm going back to this dull red, and 3 strokes. 1, 2, and 3. And that's enough. I will make them stand out with the background. I'm going to rework the background a little bit to make both shapes stand out. So I'm going to work here at the bottom, the right side, and the left side. So now let's work on the top. So I like these leaves. They're green, yellow enough. I'm going to paint the green shadows darker. It's going to make the light leaves stand out. And then paint some highlights on the light green to give more dimension to the leaves. And it should be just good enough. Let's take another picture. green, blue, yellow, okay, green, oh, that's very dark. I'm going to add more yellow. So I'm going back to what I painted first, the shadows. I make them darker. That's good enough. Now more yellow. And white to paint the greener leaves. So they stand out. And they'll stand out better with white highlights on some of them. Make a slightly darker green. So I'm going over the light green I painted. All right, that's enough. And then there's one in the background that is more green blue. I want to place it. I think it's beautiful. And now I think I can paint the highlights. So the highlights, it's a again, it's a dull color. I'm going to add white. That's too white. So let's use more. Let's add a little bit of blue. So it's a light yellow. I mean a light green. I did white. It's too much. So I need to tone down the white with a little bit of blue. There you go. Same color on this side. It doesn't have to be the exact color, right? As long as it's a light and different from the yellow green, the green yellow, it will read as reflections. Remember, it's the illusion of a lot of leaves on top of the pomegranates. So it's working. Let's put some highlights this side, the edge. And I need more green here. I don't want to see this. The base color here is distracting. So I'll cover that. going to paint the tip of this leaf lighter. 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 And that's good enough. Otherwise, I'm going to overdo it. Let's finish with this leaf here. So if you don't see all these highlights and shadows and color variations, that's fine. I just explain what I see and how you can make it better or gives more dimension later if you want to. But you could stop right there, and if you like it, that's what matters. Okay, like here, I think I should cut. Again, it's going to give more dimension to the leaf here. If you don't see that, that's fine. Again, what matters the most is that you understand the process. You do a good work on mixing, blending. Let's keep it simple. All right, let's finish the background. As promised, here. This side. This helps the fruits to stand out. Dark next to light makes the shape stand out. Okay? Dark, light, dark, light. Here, dark light, it could be darker. Dark light, dark light, dark light. All right, let's finish with more darker here, darker, darker. And I think that's good enough. So one last look on the size, the shapes, shadows, color variations, highlights. I can highlight a little bit more here. Same. I want more red here. more reflection. And I think I can sign now. So, I hope you learned something. As always, if you want to paint this picture, let me know and I can send you the reference photo. I will post tomorrow a good picture of the finished painting on our Facebook group. The link will be in the first comment. All right, let's sign now. Thank you for watching. Your support means the world. Sign. Et voilà. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye now.